Hey guys, so I started by prepping and sanding my cup and then sprayed it red, white, and blue in kind of a swirly pattern. I had a clip of that, but it got deleted, so that's why we're starting from here. I'm just mixing up 5 mils of fast set epoxy from CCDIY, and I'm going to use this as an adhesive for my glitter. I'm using Dress Blues, Sookie, and Nookie from Peachy Olive Glitters, and I'm just slathering that epoxy on there. I mixed up about 5 mils, but I definitely didn't use it all. Alright, and now you just want to go in with your glitters. This got a little bit messy. I wasn't too worried about it because I knew I would be doing like the Milky Way effect, so don't worry about it if it's a little bit sloppy. It'll all be okay. Nookie is one of my absolute favorite whites ever. It is so beautiful, and it also helped to blend the lines of the blue and red glitter. So you'll see me here just kind of go over the red and blue a little bit. And since it's such like an iridescent glitter, it just really helps to bring everything together. So it's just one of the best, and I love it. And if you don't have it, you should get it. Alright, so since I used Fast Set by CCDIY, my glitter dried in about an hour to 2 hours. So then I was ready for the cheetah print. So I'm just putting a little bit of red paint and blue paint in some mixing cups, and we're just going to paint the paint on, and that's going to act as an adhesive for our glitter. Now, cheetah print is not perfect. I don't think you have to worry too much about getting this perfect. I just went in with a flat little brush and kind of just dabbed around until I got a spot I liked and then put glitter over it. So don't stress yourself out too much. You'll also see me go in with that other brush, and that is just to sweep off any of the extra glitter that got on the white. I forgot to mention that you want to make sure you let each color dry before you go on to the next. So do all of your red spots, let those dry. Do all of your blue spots, let those dry, and then you can go in with the black outline around your spots. Again, I don't really think there's a right way or a wrong way to do this. Just kind of do your thing, girl. Um, you can absolutely look at a reference picture if you want, but I just kind of went from my head and freehanded it all. All right, after all your glitter dries, you want to make sure you seal it really well. I always use the Rustoluem 2 times clear gloss. And I usually spray it about 3 to 4 times. After I spray it with the gloss, I'll just go in with a rough paintbrush and knock off any extra glitter that didn't get sealed down. So we have less chance of contaminating our other glitters. Then it is time for the first layer of epoxy. For this first layer and for the second layer, I used Fast Set by CCDIY. I love doing flood coats when I have the time to do them. With Fast Set, you usually have to put that flood coat on at about 45 minutes in after applying your first coat. So I love doing that if I can catch it. I believe I did it here. So this first clip is my first coat, and then the second clip is my flood coat. All right, so now it's time to do the Milky Way. I went in with a thin layer of epoxy. You want to make sure these pigments are able to move, so you want to make sure you put them over wet epoxy. You don't want to put them over dry epoxy because you're not going to be able to get them to move as easily. Once you get those mixed really well, it is time to drizzle those on with some popsicle sticks. You want to kind of take your time with this, and I recommend not doing this with Fast Set. You definitely want to do this with an epoxy that is going to have a longer dry time so you have more time to work with it. I really panicked when I started putting the white on this. It was way too much in the beginning, I thought. So I messed with it for probably a good 20 to 30 minutes maybe, and luckily I was able to do that because I did use an epoxy that wasn't gonna set super fast. So yeah, here you see me going in with a glove finger and just rubbing those lines out. That's how you get that Milky Way effect, which is crazy because I had no idea until I started watching other people's tutorials. This is how you did it. But yeah, just go in with your glove finger, kind of mess with it, get it where you like it. Go in with your heat gun, get that epoxy moving around. You just got to trust the process and play with it. I promise your tumbler is going to look beautiful. All right, so once that is dry, I went ahead and sanded the entire cup with my Black & Decker mouse sander. It has been such a lifesaver. I believe it was like 40 something dollars, and you don't have to kill your arms and your back sanding with a sanding block. You can go in with that bad boy and be done in just a minute or two. So after that, I just went in with another layer of epoxy. Use the torch, of course. Also, excuse my jammies and excuse my messy craft room. It is just life. And that sweatshirt, that EBN sweatshirt, it is a Christmas one. I wear it all the time. It's my absolute favorite. Once I got that layer of epoxy on, I went in with this gorgeous iridescent glitter from Glittaful. And I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, so I will put it here in the video. And you can't really see it as I'm applying it, but it is gorgeous. It's just iridescent and beautiful. You'll be able to see it in the up close at the end. I just kind of sprinkled that randomly wherever I thought it looked cute. All right, so after this layer, I went in and sanded the rim of my cup. I like to do this before my finalish layers, just so we get a nice, good seal on that tumbler. You want to make sure you have a thin, thin line of stainless up there at the top of your cup, so your epoxy adheres to the outside of the cup and not the top, where it's more likely to break and get water down there and get damaged. So now it's time for the star decals, and I just used the default star shape in the Cricut design space, and just played around with the sizing until I got a size I liked. And I also stacked one on top of the other and sliced it, so that's the one that has like the double star. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Alrighty, I know, another layer of epoxy, but with cups with this much dimension, you just have to be patient and layer and get those layers of epoxy on so you can get the dimension and depth and effect you're wanting. So this is almost the final layer. I think I did 2 more after this, and the reason for that is because I ended up adding some extra glitter on the top. I wasn't planning on it, but then I was like, ooh, it'd be really cute with some red and white glitter. So I put some red and white glitter in there. And this was a Christmas glitter. I don't know if you can tell, but it has some snowflakes in there. So I just had to be really careful not to get any snowflakes on it. I just put a little bit in a mixing cup and kind of took it out with my fingers. And if a snowflake did happen to get on it, I was able to just easily pick it off since I was using artist resin from CCDIY, and it's got a pretty decently long work time. So for the red side, I went in with Silk from Glittaful and just did the same thing as I did with the red and white. I wanted to give it a little more depth and a little more extra glitz and glam, so I thought these chunky glitters were perfect. Alright, you guys, so like I said, I think I added 2 more coats of epoxy on top of this with sanding in between the 2 layers. So you just want to make sure you epoxy until smooth, sand anything that needs to be sanded down, and make it smooth, baby. Make it beautiful. So here is the final result. I hope you guys love it. I know this tutorial was not that great. I kind of threw it together in like 2 hours just so I could get it up before the 4th of July. So hopefully the next one will be better. I hope to see you guys again very soon. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.